Have time. Hi, little feller. No, your mom's not here, so you can't play. I can't take you to go play if your mom's not here. You know the rules. Here comes Savvy Time. He's ready to go play. So I would like a cookie. Hey, hey, hey. Get out of here. Act like that's Savvy Time. Did you see that guy? Who he think he is? He's just a boy. Hello. Oh, hang on. I get. Hang on. Come on. Sorry. There you are. Yep. Okay. No. Nope, I'm not. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Come on. What is that? Come on. You coming? I guess we can put your halter on if you need it. Got your butt flats. You know what that means. They don't live much longer. Nope. No more butt flats. Take care of their businesses. Oh, baby. You're so smart. Really smart cookies. Hi.
Morning, Rick.
How are you?
I'm Joe.
Joe, nice to meet you.
I told Joe he's jockey style.
Yeah.
I hear great things about you.
Thank you.
You look high-speed country over here with your GoPro going on.
Yeah, I like the.
Videos everything, every ride, everything he does up in his horses, so that our clients and public can watch the videos.
How they've
and
been
learn
trained
from
and all that
yes,
stuff.
and
So
learn
you're
from
doing YouTube and all that
it.
stuff?
It's on YouTube channel. I'll have to give you the
Is
channel.
it under the Savvy?
Savvy Racing.
You're doing the branding all yourself, doing all the back end. You have editors.
No, I just cut out the part where got my finger in the way, turning it on and turning it off. That's about all I cut out. Anything. So I got a still camera, and I just cut out all blank scenes. So as long as I'm in there, I film everything that's on camera.
Right. So you're moving to Hot Springs, if I understand it?
That'll be where that's the only place in Arkansas that has a track, and they race December to May.
Race
Excuse me. Start a relationship and develop a partnership. It's
Call it started.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand how words have meaning even in your subconscious. So if you're thinking break, just because that's the way they called it that, break their spirit, and that's not the most effective way. It's possible their brains work that way too. They'll shut down and become just basically slave minded and do what you want. But we developed the relationship and the partnership, so they think we're just another herd member. It's kind of why it's called natural horsemanship. We interact with them as they interact with each other in a herd.
Wow.
Oh, it is exactly a science. It was caveman until recently, and they figured out the brain structure, and they don't understand punishment. They don't have a frontal cortex. If they do, it's like thumbnail size. It's just a tiny piece. So they don't think about anything but right now. They stay in the moment. That's why they're so good for PTSD people, is because they're living in the past or the future instead of being with the horse will teach you how to be in the moment, and it'll just erase all those PTSD symptoms that they have. Their brain gets stuck in a bad cycle, and if they can learn to be with horses, that's one of the tools they use, and that's the reason. Because
that's very similar to what I'm trying to bring out for but I know nothing about it other than your 30-second talk on it. I know nothing about it. Yeah. But I've heard about it, I've read about it, certain things on the animals. I'm like, well, okay, how do I do this where it pays for itself? Because I don't want to expense it on my dime, so to speak. So how do we get these rescued horses? There's apparently a lot of them, but I don't know the first thing of taking care of the horse. Now I know you want me to be a racer and be a jockey and all that stuff, which I could do that too on the side, but
take a lot of dedication, let me tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of training it is. I'm half handicapped myself and run half of the PTSD in my head all day, but I'm a functioning veteran, and I just want to try to bring it out.
Well, we'd always thought about setting up a program to have people come out and just be with the horses. You know, it's good for the horses too to have somebody to hang out and scratch their itchy spots that they can't reach, and just hang out and be buddies and go for a walk through the woods, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have tons of trails. I don't know how these horses do on the trails because you're bringing them for racing.
No, that's the whole. Racing's the icing on the cake. The foundations, you have to build the foundation. You got to build that cake, mix all the batter and everything correctly. Once you get the foundation, then they can go do anything. So these guys grow up going through woods and seeing different things, because what they really need to understand is we're just a two-legged herd member, and we're the smarter of the two of us. So they should just defer like they would in nature to the guy that knows the most to keep them safe. Because all they do is they walk around and think about what's behind that tree, what's in the. They know they're prey animals, so they're looking for predators all the time. They don't have Google, so they don't know one thing from the next. They have to experience everything and go through it, where we help them go, I know it looks scary to you, Mother Nature is telling you one thing, but I'm telling you something else, and this will prove to you that I'm smarter than what your instincts are, and you'll save more energy and feel safer and more comfortable if you defer to me.
That's beautiful. You should write a book.
There's books written on it. That's how I learned.
What's that?
I said there's all kinds of books written on it. That's how I learned. The problem is, part of the reason we're doing this in racing is because of the 5 major horse sports. Racing outnumbers the other 4 combined in eyeballs and money, you know, the amount of money that's involved in it. So if we can change people's perception of how you could be with the horse on the biggest stage, then it'll trickle down all the way to the backyard people.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, I could go to backyard people and fix them, and they always think, oh, you got to fix my horse. Well, I got to fix you. You have to understand. It's like getting in a foreign car and left side drive, right side drive, and you just wouldn't be fluid until once you know where all the buttons are. Then it's just like driving your vehicle that you've always driven, because you know where everything is. It's the same thing with these guys. You just have to know how to push the buttons in the right way with the right energy, and they'll go, okay, do whatever you want. There's no need for a bunch of pressure and wrestling involved, where you see all the westerns where the horses are always throwing their heads, flipping their heads in the air, because they're giving them too strong of a signal. They're trying to make them do it when it's possible with the horse's brain structure that if you give them a signal, even just shifting your weight and looking the other direction, they'll know, because you've repetitively done that. You've shifted your weight, look in the other direction, and at first they go, well, I don't know what that means. Then you add pressure on this side until they go, oh, look this way. As soon as they start getting the first piece of it, then you just reinforce and refine as you go, teach and control, and then reinforce and refine until bing, bang, boom. Just a couple days ago, I rode him completely bridleless all around the laneway we got here. It's kind of a safe place, but it's proof that the horse.
So you just go bareback right on top?
Yep. Well, I wasn't bareback just because it's the reason the saddle is here. It distributes the weight. It's kind of like a backpack. It distributes the weight across his back, so all my weight's not in this one spot, and he's having to really keep yourself up. So just for their comfort and development, I like to keep a saddle on them.
Okay.
For the most part. But I get on them bareback all the time. They're not worried about it. It's just not as comfortable as having a saddle.
Rubbing the ears like dogs?
Yep. They like all kinds anywhere they can't reach themselves. They tend, once they're confident with you, they'll just beg for it. Like their withers, it's hard for them, even when they roll, to scratch right on the top of their on the top of their backs, and then how they can't hardly get to the ground to touch this part. The bellies they can't hardly reach. They'll just stand there and drop their bottom lip and go to sleep.
Oh, it's too funny. It's just like a dog.
So all these things we do is just trying to convince them that we're a benevolent dictator. We're somebody that they would, just like if somebody came along and said, here, I got all these things you like, and all you have to do is a little this, a little that, and every day it gets a little harder, but it's only this much harder every day, and you don't even notice it. And that's basically what we're doing with it. He just knows his job. There's nothing for him to do but stand here, stand still until I'm done, and he'll get a reward. If he moves off, I'll take the saddle off, and I'll make him do some elementary basic stuff, kind of like when you're in probably elementary school. If you did something wrong, you'd have to ride 100 times. I will not. It's just little things like that. It's kind of it's not a punishment, because horses don't understand punishment, but it's just a task they have to complete, and they're very, very, very strong in patterns, kind of like humans are. You know, when you tie your shoes, you don't think all through the steps. You just, because your brain's turned it into a sympathetic response, kind of like blinking and breathing. But that didn't start that way. You had to start out being very deliberate and exacting until you train that pattern in your brain. That's all we do with these guys. They just know it's better just stand still and wait till I'm done, and then I'm going to get a cookie out of it. He knows when I'm about done. He gets his head over here waiting for his reward. And we feed the cookies in the side of the mouth so they don't start chomping at your hand when you don't have a cookie, or if they're trying to get one, they'll start trying to bite at you to get you. That kind of gets dangerous after a while. But if they know they only get cookies in the side, then they'll start. They don't have teeth past here. So from here to here, there's no teeth.
That's the correct way to feed them?
Well, it's safer for everybody. It keeps them from starting to get grabby about getting more cookies and grabbing at you and biting at you, because they're wanting a cookie, and it's just an impolite way for them to ask for it. Where if they want one now, they might bump me here, or just touch me with their nose, because it wouldn't do any good to use their teeth to try to take a cookie from me. I don't know if I turn this on.
That's a good takeaway. Yeah. Eat the horses on the side. I don't even know that. I'm like, dude, they got teeth. And they are pretty big. I'm sure the jaws are pretty powerful if my hand got stuck in it.
But their lips are basically almost like an elephant's noses. They can pick things up with them, and they can sort grass and hay. It's like a prehensile tool. So they've got all kinds of uses for it.
So when the noses and the lips are very loose,
They're relaxed.
Firm.
They're
relaxed.
Yeah, and that's a key thing. You can't learn anything if you're in a tight situation. So if they're in a tight situation, I'm going to ask them to do very elementary things until they go, oh, I'm all tight through my body. I don't need to be. It makes me doing these maneuvers, which I'll show you. Basic things like we isolate and separate their parts of their body, and then ask them to move independently. So just that little energy in front of him tells him I want him to move away from that energy. Pressure motivates, release teaches. So I had just that slightest amount of pressure. It's mostly energy. If you ever heard about, think about your energy when you walk up to somebody. If you're mad at them or you want to hug them, you have a different energy in your body. Horses can sense that from miles away. Not miles, but from quite a distance away. So almost like a magnet, I want to turn the repulse. I want to repulse him and then attract him equally, so that he understands that this amount of pressure. Whoop, not paying attention. My energies. I'm talking to you. I'm not totally focused. He feels that I'm not giving him the same energy that he usually gets. If he doesn't feel that internal energy, then I start adding a little energy here, just moving these little. If he doesn't respond to that, then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger until he just goes, I know what to do. And we always start that small, just the energy in our body first, and then add a little pressure until and every time he thinks about doing the right thing, I'm going to stop that energy to reward him. Pressure motivates, release teaches. So as soon as I release that pressure, it tells him he did the right thing. Now, I may want another step, but I'll just bring that energy up again. Eventually, that'll turn into a flow.
So what are you using with the rope?
It's just a communication tool. This is just, it's a way for me to communicate to him. So if I want him to move his hindquarters, I can ask him from here, and I can start putting pressure back there, reminding him not to go forward. I just want that leg to step under the other leg. So once he can understand, all these questions I'm asking him are just simple. There's a simple solution to everything, and it puts him into a thinking state instead of a reactive state. When energy and pressure comes up, a horse that's not confident is going to start worrying about that stuff. I want him. He's trying to get me to itch some spots. That's why he's inching up. He's got an itchy spot, and I'm standing here talking and not paying attention to him, and he doesn't appreciate that. So if you're going to stand there and talk, you can use that hand and get to work on me. I don't think that one's.
What kind of horse is this again?
This is a thoroughbred.
You see how he always comes right in, because he knows that's where the safest place is to be with me. But I'm asking for him to go out and be okay being further away from me, until he can go, oh, as long as I've got the right energy, then I can go out and stay where you want. Now I'm going to redirect his energy and put him on a circle. Ask him for a trot, just with energy. Now his job is to maintain gait, maintain direction, look where he's going, act like a partner. He wants to visit.
Am I too close to the gate?
Nope. No, distractions are a part of life. That's part of the training, is that you can do your job without being distracted by every little thing. And for horses, it's very hard because every little thing is a potential danger to them in the way they've been programmed by Mother Nature. We're just trying to basically hack their brain a little bit. Say everything that Mother Nature said was true, especially the part about following the leader. If you do what the leader says, you're gonna be in less danger. If you don't do what the leader says, you're going to get kicked out of the herd, and you'll be in more danger. The herd is the safe place for them to be. There you go. Ask him to come in. Really, all I should eventually have to do is just shut my energy off. I got a little bit of driving energy in my body that you can't see, but he can feel, because he knows if he's learning that if he doesn't continue, continue on the path I've put for him, then he's gonna have to go do it again, probably the other way, probably the same amount of laps. And eventually he's just gonna do what I'm told, so it gets done earlier. It all comes down to, it's a lot like military training. It's all about teamwork. You have to know how to put your gun together, how to take it apart, how to clean, all the little things. But to get the most out of your soldiers, you have to understand, what makes them tick, and that's kind of the science behind the military training. That there's a yes sir thing, no matter what. And probably even against your instincts, you have to follow your training, because the team's stronger than the individual. Horses, their bodies are stronger, our brains are stronger. So we make a great team, as long as they turn over that authority to us. Like I said, you can make them do it, but it gets pretty ugly, and the public doesn't see that. But what they do see, they see the chains over the gums, and they just assume that horses are wild animals. That's the only way to control them. You got to have strong bits and a lot of pressure and force all the time. They don't even know horses well enough to know how tight and worried they are. They're just using all that energy built up. Oh, we'll just bottle it up and then turn them loose for a mile or half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and wait, then have a month off. Where a fit horse, mentally, emotionally, and physically, is going to be able to run every weekend, maybe even 2 times a weekend. They're not being they're not emotionally stressed by the activity, because they understand their job. And really, whatever job you're doing, what they really have to understand is follow the leader. Be a good partner. Do what the leader says. You get the least amount of pressure. It's a day's work, but you have to, in the wild, they understand they have to go 20 miles a day sometimes to find enough food. So that's all ingrained in them. There's a consequence and repercussions for everything. You got a bad fly on you? I don't. Yeah. And funny, I got on video just a couple days ago. I was just finishing with another horse, taking him back to the pasture, and he was way out there where those guys are. And he got a horse fly on him. He looked up, he saw me, come running down and stuck his butt up, and I went, crashed it, killed it. They understand once they do that a while. Once they've done it a couple times, killed some flies for them, especially horse flies, because they bite so hard. They understand. Okay, here's the process to getting rid of this fly. If a human's around, and I come running up to them, they will know what to do.
Does the bug spray help?
No, not on horse flies.
What is the deal with those horse flies?
They're a sight predator. They don't react to the smell of it. So They have really good traps for them. We're going to have to get them one of these days. Just
I got a ton of them over there at the house.
they've got some really good traps that are just like these green nets and some sort of attractant or something, and they're at an angle so they fly into it and it bounces them down into.
Is there a certain one for horseflies attracting?
Yeah, there's a special fly trap just specially made for horseflies. All right, you did pretty good. I'll demonstrate a little bridleless.
Yeah, those hurt. I'm working out in the field and they just come. I think they don't like me from the neighborhood type of deal. It's like coming attacking me hardcore till I leave the area, like a hornet almost.
Yeah, he's got those flies, little flies land under here. Oh, it's pooping time. No wonder. When it's pooping time, we can't be moving around. No, we can't be moving around. Oh, it was turned on. I turned it off. Oh.
Savvy time. Did you see how he rides? You just got him
If he doesn't respond to my feet and my weight shift, then I'll use this to help reinforce it. If he's still ignoring it, then I'll have this stick that I can guide him with it, put his nose in the right direction. As soon as he thinks in the right direction, all the pressure goes away and he just starts to follow that feel.
We'd like to ride him without a bridle. What do you think about racing him without a bridle?
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
But you certainly don't need a chain in their mouth.
Right.
Ours don't, at least.
Do they put spurs too on them? Like, are they wearing spurs when they use them?
Not when they race. They used to use them, but they have their stirrups so high that they couldn't even be effective with them anyway. And spurs isn't for making them go faster, it's for making them go sideways, basically. It's just a signal device like this stick. I add pressure with my calf and then my heel before the spur ever gets there. In the same process, they understand, oh, I feel the weight shift, I feel that leg getting tighter, and if I don't move off that leg, I'm going to feel a tickle in my belly with that spur, and then that's going to get more uncomfortable. Eventually they go where you want them to go and the pressure goes away. They just learn that's how we communicate. We're
How
out
long does
trying.
that usually take to train a horse?
Depends on the horse. Where these guys, we raised them naturally, so they had really hardly any fear of anything. Where I got one in from my mom, same age, and he hasn't had positive human interactions, so he's having a hard time. He's getting better, but I can't. All I can do right now, as furthest I've got, I can jump up and down next to him, and he can stand there and take it. That's about his. The next step would be jump up on him, and then get on him bareback, and then get him to accept the saddle, and then accept moving with the saddle until he just thinks, it's just like we have to start wearing clothes when we're 2 or 3, and no kid really likes wearing clothes until eventually you as soon as you put clothes on, you forget they're even there. Your brain shuts off that sensation. You don't even notice them, and that's all we're trying to do with the saddle, like he is now. It's just another thing that's part of his daily routine, and it's natural and normal. Nothing to be afraid of.
People don't leave the saddles on like 24/7.
No.
Because
Not good on the hurt.
Well, it's not hurt. It's just there's not a lot of air circulation, if any. The pads are made mostly out of wool, which offers natural circulation and natural ventilation, but they're still going to get sweaty under that. Kind of like if you wore a backpack all the time.
Oh, okay.
And it just that leaning up against you, you're
I
gonna.
was just thinking maybe kind of help train the horse, having it used to the saddle or whatnot.
Yeah, once they start accepting it like he is now, you don't just. It's on when it's on when trying to play. And that's another misnomer. When they're biting like that, they're not being mean. They're just playing. They're exploring and curious about their environment. If they were being mean, their ears would be pinned. So
this way.
back
to there.
yeah, flattened back, it'd be pinned, and you'd see their nose would curl up, and
are these guineas?
we used to have a bunch of them.
You just let them roam.
Yep.
Throughout the farm.
We got them because we heard they were good for eating ticks.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking about getting tomorrow.
They're not very smart. They'll like get in the water where they can't get out and drown, or coyotes will get them. They'll just not stay together.
Really?
So they just weed them down. We had 18 the first time. We got them. We were down to 2, and then one had a bunch of babies. And then we were down to 5 of those, and then we lost the daddy somewhere.
They've been kind of just keeping self-sustaining though.
Yep. They run around, eat bugs, and
All of the horses that eat their leftover feed.
yeah, they know when we're coming out to feed, because even though we put nose bags on them so they can't spill a lot of feed, they'll still spill a little bit, and they're on it. They're ready to clean up any mess those horses leave. You ready to go for a ride?
It's like, okay, I need the least maintenance wise because I don't want to kill or hurt anything. Not directly. So I don't want to be negligent in that way. For the most part.
Watch your step. He's the best pony. He's the best every time. Almost noon. Almost noon's every time. Boopity boop 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 boo. Boopity boop 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 boo. Boopity boop 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 boo. Boopity boop. Don't sniff the poop. What do you say, Joe? You pooping again? Oh my goodness. It's bothering you so bad. Tell them to leave you alone. We don't need no flies on us. We can't use them anywhere. They ain't no fun to be around. He's not very friendly. He's not very friendly. Sonny boy, did you get scared? Did you get scared? Somebody gonna get you with the flag? He said, I'm not messing around. You never know. Hey ho, hey ho. No poop sniffing. No poop sniffing. Get your hands up. Oh, that's why we don't sniff poop. That's why we don't sniff poop. Who is that? You got to see your boys. Let me let you loose right here. I can do it. I can let you loose right here. Go see your boys. You can run up and go see your boys. Huh? See what they're up to. Make sure they're not eating all your grass. Okay. There's a good boy cookie. There's one, there's two. Good boy cookies. And a gate.